Welcome to this explainer. There's an animal out there that can actually survive in space. And no, we're not talking about astronauts or aliens. We are talking about a microscopic water creature. Now, we aren't talking about surviving by, building a fire out in the woods or filtering muddy water. We are looking at survival on a massive, cosmic, absolute scale. And trust me, where this leads, it's absolutely going to flip how you look at your own daily life. But first, let's just think about the environment of space for a second. Space literally kills basically everything, right? There's zero oxygen, no pressure, extreme radiation, freezing temperatures, absolute terrifying silence. It's basically the universe looking at life and saying just one word: leave. And yet, enter our protagonist, the tardigrade. It's this tiny little animal that honestly looks like someone crossed a grizzly bear with a heavily used vacuum cleaner bag. It's kind of goofy looking. But hey, do not let the weird appearance fool you. This little biological anomaly casually defies literally all the deadliest rules of the universe. So how big are they? Well, they're only about 0.5 millimeter long, meaning thousands of them could comfortably fit right on the tip of your finger, which honestly is kind of uncomfortable information if you think about it too much. But their absolutely tiny size makes what they can do even more mind-blowing. In fact, most people just call them the indestructible nightmare raisin. Why a nightmare raisin? Well, because scientists actually took these guys and literally launched them into outer space. No helmet, no tiny little spaceship, no astronaut training montage. Just shot them straight into the cosmic death zone. And the craziest thing? They survived, which just feels illegal, honestly. So you're probably wondering, how on earth do they do it? Well, they use this incredible process called cryptobiosis. Now, yes, I know that sounds like a failed cryptocurrency, but it's actually pure biological magic. When things become way too dangerous, they don't try to fight it. They just completely shut their entire body down. It's a fascinating step-by-step transformation. First, they sense extreme danger. Then they just completely dry themselves out. Third, their metabolism drops to basically zero. And finally, they curl up into this tiny dehydrated blob called a ton. And let's be real, in this state, they look less like an apex survivor and way more like expired soup. But in this toon state, they can survive absolutely insane conditions. We're talking extreme heat, extreme cold, massive doses of radiation, no water for literally decades, and, as we know, the absolute vacuum of space. And you know what the absolute craziest part is? Tardigrades have survived every single mass extinction on Earth. Ancient predators? Long gone. Dinosaurs? Completely wiped out. Entire global ecosystems literally erased. Meanwhile, tardigrades are just sitting there like, damn, crazy. This is exactly why scientists genuinely study these creatures. They want to understand survival itself. Because think about it. If we figure out exactly how tardigrades protect their cells so perfectly, it could completely revolutionize human medicine. We're talking perfect organ preservation, radiation protection, long-distance space travel. Hey, maybe one day, even suspended animation for humans. Although, let's be realistic, humans would probably just use suspended animation to sleep right through Monday mornings. But then, we really have to look in the mirror for a second. We humans can barely survive without a solid Wi-Fi connection for 10 minutes, right? Meanwhile, this microscopic gummy bear is out there surviving cosmic horror. They literally endure the empty void of space without even trying. And meanwhile, you and I pull back muscles just by sleeping at a weird angle. Science is amazing, but sometimes it also feels deeply, deeply unfair. And this actually brings us to a really crucial pivot. I want to compare the ultimate cellular preservation of the tardigrade to the mental exhaustion of us modern humans. On one hand, the tardigrade faces the actual void of space by dropping its metabolism to absolute zero. It perfectly preserves its state. And on the other hand, you have a human, perfectly safe in bed with Wi-Fi, dopamine spiking at 100%, completely and entirely mentally exhausted. The tardigrade survives physical extremes by shutting down, but we cause our own exhaustion through severe digital overstimulation. We're trapped in this endless loop. Think about your day. We wake up, and the very first thing we do is grab the phone. We eat with the phone, walk with the phone, lay in bed just staring at the phone. People don't even get bored anymore. If the phone is out of reach for 2 seconds, we literally panic. We have relentlessly trained our brains to crave constant, endless stimulation. And here is exactly how that loop secretly rewires us. Every single swipe, Every short little reel gives the brain a tiny reward, a quick hit of instant dopamine, and the brain becomes totally addicted to that high-speed input. Because of this, our natural focus completely tanks. I mean, we'll skip to 10-second video because it's quote-unquote too long, and we get furious at a 5-second loading screen. And the result? Real life, which moves at a normal, unedited pace, starts to feel excruciatingly boring. All of this leads directly to the overloaded brain. Have you ever wondered why so many people today just feel exhausted all the time, even when they haven't done anything physically demanding? Well, this is exactly why. Your mind literally never gets the chance to enter rest mode. It is constantly processing input every single second of the day. Your thoughts get foggy, your focus gets incredibly weak, and your patience just completely disappears. You see people doing this all the time now. They're watching a movie on the big screen, but they're spending 50% of the time scrolling on their phone. We listen to podcasts while we scroll. We do one task while physically entangled in another. Our minds are permanently locked in this highly distracted state. So when people ask, why can't I focus? The problem isn't laziness. The problem is severe overstimulation. So let's just break down the deep irony here. The tardigrade faces a literally lethal threat. Cosmic radiation, absolute zero, total vacuum. Its reaction, it shuts down completely. And the result is ultimate preservation. Now look at us. Our threat is social media comparison and constant information overload. And our reaction, we don't shut down, we engage more. We scroll faster just to avoid the silence. And the result, our inner peace completely vanishes. Which brings us to an incredibly powerful truth. Most people now actually fear silence. We pump artificial noise into our ears every second of the day. Podcasts, music, videos in the background, we use it as a shield because the moment the silence actually hits, our real thoughts, our real emotions, our true mindset, they all start creeping up to the surface. And for a brain that is only accustomed to noise, well, that silence is pretty terrifying. But here's the thing. Peace doesn't just happen automatically. The brain actually has to physically recover from all this overstimulation. And the fix? It's built on small, gradual lifestyle changes. A morning without immediately grabbing the phone from the nightstand. Taking a walk outside without music blasting in your ears. Basically, intentionally inviting more silence into your day. Because when you do this, your brain finally gets the chance to genuinely calm down. So I want to leave you with this final, lingering thought. We share this universe with a creature the size of a grain of sand, the indestructible nightmare raisin. And it literally owes its millions of years of survival to one brilliant biological instinct, knowing exactly when to disconnect, shut down, and wait out the storm. So if a microscopic water bear knows when to shut down to save its life, why don't we? Think about that the next time you blindly reach for your phone just to avoid a quiet room.